Hi, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen. This month we're off to Portugal and our expert guide is José Silva. Thanks for being here, Chef.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited about this dish, arroz de tomate. Did I say that right?
Yeah, almost. Arroz de tomate.
Okay.
Yeah, which is tomato rice.
And when you told me about it, you said it's like a wet risotto.
Yeah, it's like, but we don't put cheese in it like the Italians do, and and we don't stir it. We just do like we bring it to a boil, and just use the tomato style.
Kind of
like
pilaf style.
It's like a pilaf style, but like you let it wet, like a really wet soupy. Yeah, like soupy.
So it's like a risotto, but it's easy because you don't have to stir it.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to serve it with peri-peri chicken. You said you serve it pretty much with everything in Portugal.
In Portugal we have you can have rice, potatoes, and beans and bread.
You like your carbs, don't you?
We love our carbs, yes. But we serve tomato rice with almost anything. Like you can have it wet, and then you can always reheat it a little bit if you have some left over. The next day with a meal, like in a microwave, so it's more like a tomato pilaf.
Right, so then it's less soupy.
It's less soupy
if you reheat it, but still just as good.
It's great.
The other reason I wanted you to learn this dish is because, as I understand it, the base, and I only know the Italian word for it, sofrito, but what do you call it in Portuguese?
Estrugido.
Estrugido?
Estrugido, yeah.
And so much of cooking, I think, is about patience. There's the ingredients, and then there's the care you put into those ingredients.
Definitely, yeah. You got to always cook with love. Like anything you do,
That's
love, and
don't
forget to season.
Love and salt, the two most important ingredients,
salt,
right?
Yeah. Because you got to and season at the right times. You don't season right at the end. You always like beginning, middle, and finish.
Okay.
Is the key to good seasoning and taste. Taste. Because you don't want to over season either, but you just want to put a little bit of salt at the beginning, a little bit more in the middle, and then you go to taste. You might have enough, and then you can adjust the season. You don't want to wait till the end to season.
It's too late.
And it's too late because then you just become salty and the food's not seasoned.
Right.
That's one of my
So we're going to cook with love, we're going to cook with salt,
always with love.
And we're going to cook with patience because you really have to cook that estrugido.
Sofrito.
Sofrito, let's call it a sofrito.
Estrugido, because you got to you caramelize the sugars in the onion.
Right.
And you got to be careful not to overcook the garlic because then they'll go bitter. But because by caramelizing the sugars, it kind of releases a completely different flavour, and that's it's like
you can't rush it.
You can't rush it.
Okay.
You can't rush good food or anything.
Let's get our prep done and let's make some of this delicious tomato rice. So we've chopped up our tomatoes, crushed our garlic, chopped our parsley. We have some of that beautiful smoked paprika, and a bit of onion.
A bit of onion. So for this amount of rice, we'll use a small onion or half an onion.
Okay, so if we've got one that size, about half?
Half is enough, yeah.
Because we want everything in balance.
Yes,
I guess that's another secret, right?
Exactly. So you don't want to have too much onion; it becomes like too sweet or too oniony. So.
And tomatoes, we want nice ripe ones, right?
Yeah, really ripe.
I tend to use little grape tomatoes because they're ripe all year round.
They're ripe all year round, yeah. So that's that. I actually, so do I actually at home. I sometimes when they're special, or I overripe them and then freeze them.
Ah.
And then you can to defrost them, you just put a boiling water on top. Tip the water out and then get rid of the skin very, very quick.
There you go.
That's a tip.
There's another chef's tip for you.
If tomatoes freeze really well if they're overripe. Instead of like you think, oh, what would I do with these tomatoes? Just pop them in the freezer.
And of course they're.
But I wouldn't never use them fresh. Like I wouldn't use them in the salad.
They're for cooking.
Just for cooking.
Yes, because they're going to break down.
They're going to break down. So otherwise,
But the beautiful thing is, they're inexpensive when they're ripe.
When they're ripe, yeah.
So it's the perfect time to stock up on them, pop them in the freezer.
Yeah, so don't waste it. If you have overripe tomatoes, and you pop them in the freezer. So just do some green rice.
Everyone I know, especially all the chefs, everyone slices an onion slightly differently. So now we're learning the José way of slicing an onion.
Oh, there's plenty of ways to
Do you become immune to the tears that the rest of us have? Do you still cry when you're a chef and you have to chop onion?
Yeah, depending on the draft. If it's going towards you, then the juices will make you cry. So you try to go...
Even if you're experienced?
Yes.
Okay.
There's no ways around it. For this, it doesn't have to be like a perfect brown rice because we're going to cook it down.
And I can see why you said only half an onion, because that chops up to quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. So if you put a full, then I think for that amount of rice, it's
but then it's going
too
to
much.
cook down.
It's going to cook down, so I mean, yeah.
All right, let's take our bits to the stove and get cooking. So we start off with our onion.
You start off with the onion. Just you get your oil quite hot.
Salt at this stage?
Yes, I put a little bit, like just not too much, but just the salt. Kind of now just pop your lid on, start caramelizing and caramelizing those the juices, the sugars.
And we give it a stir
every now and then to make sure it's not sticking on the bottom. So yeah, like that's been like a minute. And now I just crank the heat, but add your garlic. Don't want to add it too early. Add your tomato. So the onions are starting to go soft and it's golden. Mm-hmm. So you just cook the garlic, but because the garlic's finely chopped, you don't want to burn the garlic. Also, a little trick that I've learned over the years is how the frying the tomato juices adds another dimension in flavour as well.
So we can do it high heat, but we need to keep it moving, right?
If you do it high heat, you need to keep it moving. If you don't want to be stirring over the pot, then you turn the heat down but let it simmer. But if you use a high heat like that, you need to stir, otherwise the onions will burn. But it's okay to get a little bit of a caramelization because that's going to add a depth of flavour. Then if you wanted to like leave the stove, turn the heat down and kind of just let it simmer a little bit. And then,
there's no shortcut.
There's no shortcuts, no.
But high heat helps.
It helps a little bit like of the caramelization, but now I've slowed it down a little bit just to, let it simmer and cook. So it's starting to
smell fabulous.
Yeah. Now you add paprika.
I love the aroma this adds.
Yeah. So paprika or pimentón or paprika is the easiest to get your hands on. Kind of cook that a little bit as well.
So you're layering, aren't
you?
Yeah, each one adds
you
another
add
layer.
another layer and you kind of, So I mean, be patient and because you're layering each flavour. So we have the refogado estrugido. Add your rice.
You're just making sure that's well mixed through.
Yeah, mix it in so it's all nice and salt.
So this is the middle seasoning?
Yes. Water. You bring it to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer. It's wet. It's ready. It's cooked.
I love it.
So you want it to be soupy, yeah. So you want it to take it to the table. So this is just came off the boil. Add your parsley. Stir that in.
Yum! It smells fabulous.
And then, sorry.
I'll take that.
Thank you. Spoon. Put it into a serving bowl.
think the important thing for you to see here is just how wet it is, because it's wetter than even the wettest risotto.
Yes, because it will keep cooking at the table.
So it's going to thicken up.
So you want it to, to stay a little bit al dente, like not...
May I?
Yep. And then it's going to thicken up as it sits there, because there's a lot of heat, like it's hot. It was
sure.
boiling, so yeah.
Gorgeous. Tomato rice, arroz de tomate.
Arroz de tomate.
You're going to love this. I think you're going to serve it with everything. And for me, it's just a great Sunday night dinner. I don't need to serve it with anything. I just want a big bowl of this. It's like the most comforting soup with all those great flavours. And that beautiful smoked paprika.
Yep.
Thank you, Chef.